Good morning, students. It is a pleasure to be here with you this morning. After reviewing your literature reviews and looking at some of the trends that I see is that some of you are having a lot of trouble summarizing the journal articles. You're doing a great job, but I think I need to clarify some issues so you can write more effectively and also to have, spend less time doing that. So let's go summarize these. What do I want to kind of like my objective this morning is I want you to learn how to summarize the scientific information, but the vital information, what we need to know, critically assess the research materials and write the results section for the literature review. So that's what we are going to do it in these next few minutes. So let's go. So what is the most effective method for summarizing research articles? And this is something that I have been used forever because I can waste time and time is of the essence here. For example, I have to know what do I want to know or what do I need to know. And the best way to do that is for me to get the purpose of my paper and put it next to the article. For example, if the purpose of my paper is to examine the effect of bedridden and, for example, the effect of, let's see, a medication in a patient, I have to have those keywords in my research article. So the more focused you are in the purpose of your paper, the easier it is for you to summarize the research because you know what you're answering. So you're comparing, you're comparing maybe treatments, or maybe you're looking at the relationship between less staffing and patient falls, or you're looking at nursing satisfaction and absenteeism, or you're looking at, for example, the body system, does it work, and decreasing the number of falls. Whatever you do, remember, you must have that purpose next to you. Once you have that, use your own words when you get that information from the article. And in the results section is not the time to interpret anything. It's just to present those hard facts without you making an assumption. This is going to be left for the discussion section. The discussion section is what do we learn from this? The results section is we need to summarize the results so we can make a decision after we summarize these results. So let's go next to it. How do I read these research articles? Number one, I always read the abstract number one because the abstract is going to tell me if this article answers my clinical question. Then I'm going to go to the discussion section immediately because the discussion section tells me what they have learned from doing this research and the conclusion, of course. Then I go to results, then I look at the introduction, and finally I go into the methodology. But every part is very important. But right now, what we need to do is look at the abstract. The abstract answers my question, and then I go into the rest of the article. So how do I write this part? Number one couple of sentences. What is this research about? Highlight the purpose of the study. For example, the purpose of the study was to investigate the effectiveness of ivermectin in preventing COVID-19. That is the purpose of the study. So you are going to give your citation. Of course, don't forget your citations, and you are going to highlight the purpose of the study. Include the research question. Some studies have 3-4 research questions, but you're not looking at every research question. Maybe you're looking at effectiveness regarding decreasing the number of days of sick days, decreasing the number of sick days. That's what you're looking for. So they may be looking at something else, but you're just looking at decreasing the number of sick days. So include a research question and define any terms. Like, for example, if I'm talking about ivermectin, I'm going to say it's an antiparasitic medication that's been used for many years, but very brief. It's not something that you can explain the whole, pharmacology of these medications, just a sentence so they really understand what are you talking about. So next one, next sentence. What did the researchers do? And this is something based on the methodology. For example, after you talk about the purpose and the research question and define the terms, the next thing can be, you can say, in this longitudinal 9-month study, they use surveys in 3 phases. In the first phase, so you can describe exactly what were the methods used in this study. You can find this in the methodology. You can say the study was a longitudinal, the study was an experimental study. In the experimental study, they compared 3 kinds of groups. So this is the time for you to get a methodology and put it in your paper. So how did they collect the data? Did they use surveys? Did they use observation? Did they use experimentation? This is a time for you to say that about the study. Now, one of the most important things that makes you understand if this study can be generalized, because this is the whole point. The whole point is, can we generalize this information to other people? So, for example, if you have 5 people in a study, you cannot generalize these 5 people as very small sample. So you have to figure it out. Is this a good sample? So the number of people sampled, you have to tell us that. How many participants? How they were participants selected? Were they randomly selected? They were probably they were, for example, volunteers. So you have to tell us that how many people started the study and how many people drop out. Because let's see, you have 10,000 people joining the study and then 8,000 drop out. So you have to talk about. Another thing that you have to talk about is the demographics. Do they look like each other? Do the groups look like each other? For example, if you have 2 groups with COPD and diabetes, but the next group have also hypertension, you cannot compare apples and oranges. The groups have to match if you compare in groups, so you can make assumptions about the population. So demographics are very important. It's a characteristic, and you need to know about that part of the study. Sometimes they do it, sometimes they don't, but this is an important information. So the last part, some of the last part is, what did the research find? Okay, what was the results? Okay, key findings of the study, rather than every finding of the study. Okay, you're going to see the results section is pages and pages, but what actually did they found? So when describing the findings, make sure you make this as clear as possible by giving specific details. Number, how many people, for example, in group 1, 90% of the sample in group 1 did not contract COVID-19 for the 3 months in the duration of the study, compared to the group who did not take the ivermectin, and the group that what happened is the group got a higher number of cases of COVID-19. I just given you assumptions. This is not true. This is just examples. So provide a few examples as possible in your results. So that is another thing that it can be helpful. Another way, and this is also, I got a surprise for you today. Another way is to create a literature review using the matrix method. Okay, the matrix method is a very good way to organize. I have put an example of a matrix with a big example in these assignments. So you can go to the assignment files and you're going to find those 2 wonderful examples, and you can find also a matrix template. The matrix template is going to allow you to get your studies and asking you to do, and this is the surprise, okay? The surprise is that I don't want you to panic. Okay, I don't want you to panic. I want you to go back to your literature review and go back and review that section. If that section is not doing what we just went through here, then we your grade is affected. But you can always fix it. So surprise! Would you like to have 10 points towards the final exam? I need you to go to all these articles. For example, if you have not done the article in the critique, go ahead, use that article. Use the critique article to do this matrix. If you provide the matrix by 3/10/2021, then I will give you 10 points towards your final exam. This is not hard. This actually is an easy thing to do, and you can work with it with your actual articles that you're already working for your final assignment or for your literature review if you have not done your literature review yet. So I hope this is helpful and looking forward to see you soon. And I hope I hear from you very